And welcome to Liquid Lunch. We're coming at you live. It's Monday, April 27th. I think this is the first Liquid Lunch we've done on a Monday since we've been in the new studio.
That's right. And we're going to be doing lots of Mondays now.
Mondays are.
Right?
Yep, because Laura's coming in later today. We got a big show lined up. And but right now it's you, Ravel. Is that your name?
Today?
Today. Ravel is here, my co-host. And we have Bob Huybrechts joining us here. And Bob, this is day, what is it, day 30 of a fast?
It's the 30th day of my annual fast. Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
So I have not eaten anything yet. So
Nothing in 30 days.
I'll be breaking that fast this afternoon.
And your fast started the last time you were here, which was a month ago. So we're seeing him now after a month of no food.
Exactly.
So
wonderful.
Now, okay, so let's dive right into this because I mean that is quite an achievement. I've done some fasting before myself. I tried to do a 9-day fast and I wasn't able to go the 9 days. So doing 30 days is a real achievement. And so maybe start by telling us why are you doing this?
Okay, there's a story behind all of this, of course. Why I'm doing it is in my personal life. In my 20s, I started to develop kidney stones. And kidney stones, as you may know, are extremely painful. And I didn't really know what kidney stones were until it happened and all that. And I was on a holiday one time in Spain, and I woke up with a tremendous pain. I thought I was dying. Okay. And sometimes it takes this kind of awareness,
feedback
from people, the mental feedback, in order to make decisions. So since I didn't know what kidney stones were, I went to doctors and they said, they took an X-ray. They said the stone is like this big. He says no way we can get this out of there except for an operation.
Was that bigger than the normal size kidney stone?
Well, I guess so. I don't know. This is so long ago, and the techniques in the hospitals have also changed now. They use ultrasounds and stuff which weren't available 30-something years ago. In any case, this doctor said, they can't go without taking the operation. And I said, well, how does the operation happen? Tell me that. And he says, we put you on your belly, we cut 3/4 of your body, we break through 3 ribs, then we take it out of the kidney, sew everything up, and you go home. And I said, no, you're not.
Oh, you said no?
I said, no, this is not going to happen.
Okay.
That scared pretty well the wits out of me when he's 3/4 of the body and they break 3 ribs. And no, that was a little too much. That is a little extreme. That was a little too much on me. So I had heard of natural cures and herbalism and, a normal young man education kind of thing, but I had never delved into any of those things. And so I did. So I went on the Danforth in a little place called Tuna Herbal. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
They're still there, aren't they?
Tuna Herbal is still there.
Yeah, they're there.
Near Broadview and near
exactly. Very dark looking place with dark wood, and they sell books and some supplements and that. So I walked in there and the place was completely empty. And I was looking around in the books and stuff, and all of a sudden I hear this noise, and a 92-year-old man comes jumping, like literally jumping behind the counter. He had no hair, but he had bright eyes, red cheeks, and all his teeth, because I'm in the dental business, the first thing I noticed. And I thought, my goodness, I better listen to him, what he's going to tell me. So I said, he said, what can I help you with? I said, I got kidney stones. And he said, that's nothing. And I said, excuse me? Nothing, what do you mean? And he goes, here, do this, take this, take that. And he gave me this book called The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Dr. Arnold Ehret.
Can you say that again?
The Mucusless Diet Healing System. Mucusless Diet Healing System by Dr. Arnold Ehret.
Okay.
E-H-R-E-T.
And you said this book.
A German doctor. And I'm Belgian, so German doctor, I thought immediately, some respect maybe, versus maybe an Indonesian doctor or whatever. So, the book is only very little. It's got an orange cover and it's got his face on it with 2 big eyes. It's one I remember. And the book is not written in chapters. Very thin book. And the book is written in lessons. It's lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and so forth. I read the book in one breath, and that's what made up my mind, because he talked about fasting, how fasting saved his life. He became sick as a doctor in Germany, and his colleagues were testing drug after different drug on him, and he kept feeling worse and worse. He escaped living on a farmhouse. He escaped in his underpants and disappeared in the woods. They couldn't find him for months, and all he had was some berries and some a little river or a little stream that was going through the woods.
So he was just living off what was in the forest?
Just yes.
Why did he do that?
Mostly water.
Why did he run out?
Because he felt they were killing him.
Oh,
so he escaped. He actually escaped.
Okay.
His colleagues, who were held in high esteem, of course, because that's what's supposed to be. So then later on in life, he started he became, in 2 or 3 months, he completely was written off by the profession. He completely returned to his full health. And he realized and started listening to his own wisdom and start doing research on fasting itself and water fasting in particular. And he started a whole movement in the 1930s called Eretism, and then he came to America and started telling everybody stop eating and start fasting when you're sick, because you're going to cure yourself, because the body knows how to cure itself if you only give it the chance to do so. And then suspiciously he came out of one of his lectures, and he was found dead with his head hit really hard on the pavement.
What happened?
He was murdered.
Any reason why? I mean, do we know, is it a conspiracy? Was it the medical establishment?
He was telling people how to cure themselves without using drugs or the help of the medical profession, and just not even taking any food for that matter. And he says that will cure all your diseases. And so
yeah, but who would
they didn't like him saying such a thing.
Who would have been threatened by that? The medical society, or
big
pharmaceutical companies?
Pharma. But the big pharma starts, the antibiotics start in 1938. Maybe Bruce will have told you about 1938 is a big day when the antibiotics start coming into the big pharma and start pushing away all the other natural cures that they...
Right, and we changed from, I think, a homeopathic hospital,
or a more natural approach
to the whatever allopathic or whatever you want to call it today.
Yes.
So now you read this book, it changed your life. I mean, what was it about the book, or what do you remember? What specifically was it, and it really made a big impression enough that you said, I have to start to do this in my life?
Yeah, the biggest impression it left on me is that Dr. Ehret actually challenged the world champion bicycle riding at the time. And he took him on, being no athlete to speak of, and he actually beat the man in a famous race held in Algiers under supervision of doctors.
Wow! Well, just to prove that this fasting is a healthy, can make you healthier.
Beat the guy on the 30th day of his fast, so give me a bicycle and let me do something.
Did you ride down today, Bob?
No, sorry, I had to use the car.
He must have been pretty athletic in some way, anyway, to be able to do that.
Yeah, but to come from, where he was near death experience, that's pretty amazing.
That's incredible. Now, you say that you survived on water for the month.
Yes.
And does it matter what kind of water you're drinking? Because there's a lot of controversy about water right now.
Yes, you precisely said that, and there is 2 or 3 things that, don't forget that I have done this fasting on every year for now 37 years. So I could probably say I have a little experience behind me. No, and I don't think I look too bad or undernourished or anything.
You look great.
Thank you. So, proof of the pudding kind of thing. Proof is in the pudding. So, nobody has to tell me that fasting is beneficial, because you can feel it. There's so many things in life that you can feel. You don't need science or doctors to tell you what it is all about. If you feel much better, I think there's very little doubt there's anything wrong with you, especially after such a long period of time. Coming back to water, I started fasting on distilled water because at that time distilled water was not even available for human consumption. And so I bought my own distiller and made my own water. Later on, we all learned because there's a whole wave of consciousness in health that started happening relatively at the same time that I picked up on it. And people are saying distilled water is no good because it leaches your body of minerals. It leaches nutrients out of your body. Yeah, that's right. And that's why I use distilled water while I'm fasting, because inorganic minerals that are stuck in your body that form kidney stones, arthritis, and gallstones, and all kind of other troubles in your body get leached out.
Into the distilled water.
Into the distilled water.
So you're losing those toxic metals and that sort of thing.
That's right. It's the most powerful affinity for inorganic minerals.
So are you still using the distilled water?
Yes, but I don't do it now. I don't do it all my fast. Maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks of the fast, I will take only distilled water and leach out and then for the rest of the time we take now RO water, which is of course the latest.
RO?
RO is reverse osmosis.
Okay.
It's now the big thing because it's just as good, if not better, as distilled. Distilled water, actually, even triple distilled water will still leave some parts of lead, because lead at boiling point of water, 100 degrees Celsius, will still become evaporated. So even after triple time, that's what I used to do, triple distilled water. You can still buy triple distilled, but now it's more expensive than RO water. But reverse osmosis is a NASA invention, because what are they going to do up there, you know?
Now, the reverse
boil the
osmosis,
water.
Let's not get into the details of that one.
Isn't it that the reverse osmosis has nothing in it? No.
Well, same
minerals,
as distilled.
no nothing,
Similar
just
to distilled.
nothing.
It's actually cleaner than distilled, apparently. So, but you know, we're talking about like such a nano scale now that big discussions are almost useless. I mean, I fast on strictly distilled water for 30, 40 days sometimes during my lifetime for many years. So obviously it's not going to damage a person.
Right.
You know.
But I guess you wouldn't want to use tap water because of the impurities, right?
No, tap water,
No.
well water, depending what the sources are.
Right. What about spring water?
Horrible stuff.
Like spring
Well,
water?
spring water, again, is another big discussion, because I guess the simple knowledge is that when rain comes down and then rain is distilled water, that comes down and starts a spring on a mountain, and then the river goes down the mountain and picks up inorganic minerals on its way down.
Right.
So the people that live on top of the mountain are healthy, and the one that goes on the bottom of the mountain get all the dirty miracles from all the rocks it scrapes off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them having arthritis, and they can't climb up the mountain anymore.
So okay, so fair enough. So now
that may not be true, by the way, but I don't know. But it's a good visual.
It makes sense, that's for sure.
Now, when I was doing fasting, I was reading about the pros and the cons of a water fast versus the one I was doing. You would use small amounts you would put a little bit of lemon in the water.
Yeah.
So you were drinking lemon water, and maybe you were having a little bit of maple syrup, and I think maybe cayenne pepper. But and so what is the disadvantage of
well,
say?
there is an amazing difference, a huge difference between complete fasting and even a little bit of this or a little bit of that, because when you do even the little bits will keep your digestive tract activated. It'll still function. Whereas if you go on complete fast, and this is probably the secret of it, why you're not hungry when you're really fasting. When your digestive juices stop flowing, there is no hunger pangs whatsoever. No hunger pangs whatsoever. And every time I keep telling people, one of the reasons I keep fasting is because I don't have the willpower to diet.
So I got to ask you though,
and you don't,
because
for diet you need willpower, because if I like something, I love food. When I like something, I'm not going to leave anything on this plate, or stop halfway.
You're fairly healthy. You're healthy, and you don't look. I mean, you don't look like you overeat and have. I mean, there's some people. Who
I do sometimes.
Really?
I have no willpower. Is what I'm trying. I'm just trying to explain to you.
So once a year, this helps you.
Well, actually, I do it twice a year. I do 14 days before Christmas as well.
Twice a year.
So let me ask you, like the first time you did this as a water fast, did you go full 30 days? 23
days. I pulverized that kidney stone, by the way.
So this was your first one. You went 23 days.
My first fast, I went 23 days. It was very tough and very revealing on both ends.
Really?
I tell you the truth.
so now let's talk about the toughness of it first of all. Did you have hunger pangs?
The first time, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Exactly that far back, or exactly, because I was in a frenzy and some fear of pain and with this kidney stone. I wanted to get rid of the kidney stone first of all. Mm-hmm. Like obviously, I was still smoking on my first fast, but while I was working, I lit the first cigarette in the morning, and the first day of my fast, and it tasted so bad. I just put it away, and I said, I'll look at that after my fast. And
the first day of your fast?
The first day of my fast, I tried to smoke a cigarette, and it tasted already foul. And so I put my cigarette packs away. And
so the fast helped you to stop smoking too?
Yes, we'll talk about that later. It'll pretty well kill every single addiction.
Wow.
So, but it was tough. I mean,
well,
did you have...
I don't remember. I think I was more scared than I was, and I had this new knowledge that I had no idea whether it was going to work or not. I mean, people can write books, but it doesn't mean, there's lots of information. I mean, now there's probably more disinformation than 30, 40 years ago. But
you were also very courageous to try this, because you did not want the doctors to open you up.
I was desperate.
Didn't want that.
To cure the kidney stone,
yeah, I was desperate.
Yeah. Were you still in pain?
Yes.
From it?
Well, of course, yeah. That was the greatest pain.
Okay, so how long before the pain started to go away? Because you said you pulverized.
Once the stone is gone, it's done.
No, but how long into the fast?
Well, a kidney stone doesn't hurt all the time. It depends on how much water you drink, and but once the stone is lodged, it doesn't get smaller. It gets bigger and bigger.
Right.
So you got to get rid of it one way or the other.
So when you say it was revealing at both ends,
on all
which ends do you want to talk about first?
I don't want to talk about any end. I want to get back to the benefits of fasting.
Okay.
First, actually, the definition. The real definition of fasting is living off stored reserves. Okay. Without ingesting any new food matter.
Okay.
That is the actual without any new food matter, which means even a little bit of maple syrup, even a little lemon juice, it'll keep your digestive tract active.
Okay.
And that's not good when you fast, because then you need willpower.
All right. So here we're doing pure water fast.
Yes.
We're living off the stored resources. Just a quick question though. Somebody who, like me, I'm pretty skinny.
Doesn't matter.
Am I gonna start to eat into the muscle?
No, it doesn't matter. No. As a matter of fact, it's the greatest question at this particular point, because it is known that humans can fast for 150 days without any food at all, as long as you keep your body hydrated. Starvation will only set in, and starvation is basically the extension of fasting. When your reserves are depleted, that's when your body starts starving.
Right.
It's a different story.
Okay.
Starving is not healthy.
Right.
Okay, but that doesn't happen for 150 days.
Okay.
And there are some records. The longest fast that was actually monitored by doctors was done by a Jain monk in India. The Jain faith, Jain monk.
No.
Jain.
Oh, Jain. Yeah.
Jain. Yeah. Jain, and he fasted for 141 days under supervision. So he could not cheat.
But okay, Bob, but you hear these crazy stories about the breatharians.
I know breatharians,
right? Who go for
yes.
indefinite periods without eating, right?
Yes.
Except for the occasional Big Mac snuck in. after dark.
And there are the sun gazers that also feed photons in their pineal gland.
We're going to have a sun gazer on the show later today.
Oh,
as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be happy to listen to that.
Yeah, because Michael Moon sun gazes.
That's great.
Michael Moon.
Moon,
I've done some of it. I've done some of it, but my house is not in a very bad position for seeing the sun either way in a proper fashion. You know, like you're supposed to start at sunset or sundown.
So are you saying that it may be theoretically possible for someone to live on a permanent basis?
Well,
maybe without eating and just getting all their sustenance from water, air, and sun?
I cannot profess that from my own experience.
Okay.
But I do believe that people can learn how to live on very, very little food if necessary.
Okay.
People have done it.
All right.
You know, if we only step another leap back, for example, there is no wild animal on the surface of this earth that does not fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can give you hundreds of...
And especially when they're sick, right?
Or like in cycles.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be sick. Bears don't hibernate when they're sick.
That's seasonal. Yeah.
But that's cycling, yeah, that's a yearly. And bears, the female bears give birth after they're fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a lot of sense. And the bears are strongest when they come out of their fast. It's just like Arnold Ehret. Come on, you can't stop the guy. He's going for a meal now.
So if we don't really need to eat so much,
not much at all.
Why do we?
Oh well, we are completely inundated on the other end with total excesses and malnourished food sources that have been processed, kicked and slapped, and
Well, because we're eating a lot of foods that have no nutrients in them.
Exactly.
Well, I think another thing is it's a cultural thing, or it's something like, for example, when I did my fast, I did it on a camping trip. I was camping.
Well, there you go.
And what I discovered was that camping is the whole camping experience is based around the meal preparation.
Yes.
Without meal preparation, what do you do with yourself all day, right? No, you got to go out fishing in the morning, but then you're looking forward to coming back and having lunch, and then you do something. Then you're looking forward to coming back and getting dinner ready.
Don't you eat the fish then at the end?
Well,
was it a fasting camp?
I'm just saying that I realized how much camping, and I'm also saying that life in general is based around our meal schedules, right?
Yeah.
It's a ritual. Definitely. It's a families get together.
And there's another a personal benefit. I look forward to fasting because I swear that I will not do anything that I don't like doing, because I have more time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shopping, there's no food, there's no this, no that, so you have lots more time to do. But you don't want to do, you want to to sort of help yourself, be happy and be quiet and meditate.
Don't you get and how about the boredom thing though? Doesn't boredom set in, and because there's so little external stuff to do? Because I'm thinking if I were to do that, and that was actually my experience on the camping trip, the boredom set in a bit.
Well, you must know they call me never a dull moment, so I don't get bored so easily at all. Lots of other things to do and to work on, and
Okay.
So here we are at the fact that we can go without food for 150 days, but people say, yeah, but what about hunger? How come hunger? Hunger doesn't set in actually until that time, but we call hunger. Eating 3 times a day is actually known in alternative medicine as a false appetite, because it's not really hunger. It's basically, oh yeah, I want to eat something, and a lot of people are on a clock. They're 6 o'clock, I got to have dinner.
Right, but there is you do get
I know that when I get hungry, I need energy. It's not about. It's not about having an appetite. It's because I need energy.
Yeah, we can also discuss that, because let's say athletes go and they eat a steak. Proteins don't really provide energy in the first place. Only carbohydrates really give you energy, or direct energy.
Well, I didn't say proteins,
a lot of people,
but I'm just saying what I know gives me energy when I'm hungry is what I'll go for, because I need that energy to go the next few hours.
Yes, so you're in touch with your body.
So what about that?
Well, yeah, but but real hunger. This is not real hunger. This is appetite, what you have, and you.
But still,
really
I know from my experience that that whatever I want to eat something feeling is, it gets severe enough that you give into it, or you certainly want to give into it.
That's why they call it the false appetite.
So you have to deal with it, though.
Yourself.
I mean, you have to deal with it, and and I'm wondering.
You could start a fast.
Well, actually, you're getting me seriously interested in considering this, but I'm wondering if because you've been doing this for 37 years, did you ever have a time when it was so difficult to try to overcome that feeling of you wanting to eat something?
No. Not really, no.
And you've done 30 days.
Not when you really go on a complete. It gets tough if you cheat on yourselves. Then it gets tough.
You don't want to cheat, but I can remember just having just craving for even a taste of maple syrup during that fast, right?
Sometimes I do that, and then I read cookbooks.
You read cookbooks?
I eat cookbooks.
You eat the cookbook.
I read cookbooks, yes.
And that's a substitute?
Yeah, well, a substitute is looking forward to when, maybe I'll get back and I'll do something creative with food,
right.
more cleaner and more intelligent, whatever.
Okay.
So isn't a fast helpful anyway, even if you don't go a full 30 days? What if you go, I'll try to do 30 days, but I've done 10, that's it, I can't do anymore.
No, I'm not sitting here professing everybody should go on a 30-day fast by no stretch of the imagination.
Or 2 weeks maybe.
No, not at all. I went into this like really almost in the extreme, and I've been keeping it up nicely because it's possible, and I now learned that it is not unreasonable, the length of fast. Now I said about animals. Now when we go back to ancient times, right? Pythagoras, who was a math teacher at the time, he did not allow a student in his class unless they had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Biblical text will tell you that Pharisees used to fast 40 days on end. When these people say fasting, they were fasting. This is not like what they do here is at sundown you go and gorge on a buffet or some kind. Okay, these people were fasting. Plutarch said instead of using medicine, rather fast a day. I know a guy who, for many years, he's an older man, but he's done this for 40, 50 years. Every Monday he never eats. Nothing. Complete fast on a Monday. And he's in really a remarkably good shape for his age. Now, I don't say that would be the case every time, but here's an example of somebody who's doing this routine and gives himself 24 hours a week a break, which has now seemingly benefited his health.
But so over the long period, the long period, that would work okay for people who can't do a whole 30 days, right? Where if you did like 1 day a week.
But Ravel, you're just looking for excuses at this point.
I want to do it the easiest way possible. Basically, I want to do it the easiest way possible.
No. So ancient times, this was a normal thing. Are we out of time?
No.
Oh.
There's just stuff going on.
Always stuff going on.
Yeah.
So in ancient times, do you think that when humans, in prehistory, when humans came on Earth one way or the other, you think they would always have breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day?
Well, no,
right?
But their lifestyles were different than ours as well.
It is no, well, of course, but it is known, for example, Romans. The Roman Caesar would give large feasts for like a week or 2 weeks on end. People would eat themselves clearly almost to death, and then they would have to fast because they had no food. They would fast for months until there was another feast to be going on. You see, so people had these, periods of time that they were forced to fast. So the human body is used to it. We are not used to what we're doing right now. Is overfeeding our bodies. Right.
And the reason really is the fundamental reason, and I want to get to all these benefits, but the reason is we need to, in a way, digestion takes a lot of energy. It uses energy, so we're giving our body a rest from all that digestion,
from chewing to discarding. We're burning our food, we call it, which is the highest amount of energy that the body uses for anything at all. If you stop that dead, all that energy, what do you think it's going to do?
Yeah. So you're actually, this is what goes to your argument, that you're freeing up energy.
Yes.
Because I know for myself,
huge amount.
And people are different. Everyone's got different metabolism, but sometimes, quite often, after a big meal, I need to rest because my body is so busy doing the digesting.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe because you eat meat. See, some people don't eat meat, so their energy, it takes more energy to digest meat, doesn't it? Now,
oh yes, and it makes you more sick.
So when it comes to back to my question about the energy, I think I would have to prove to myself that not eating when I need that energy would actually help me than hurt me, because I'm iron deficient, and so I have to take in a lot of iron. Now, whether I take that in through
food,
spinach and greens and
should be taken
beets and all sorts of things like that, I also take iron supplements. So to me, when I'm really hungry, I need energy. That's really what it's about.
You need carbohydrates. Yeah.
Okay, but let's get back to the fasting, because the other thing about fasting is that when you stop eating, not only are you giving your whole body a rest, but you're also getting rid of, as you mentioned earlier, the toxins and a lot of that comes in. The rest of the time when we're eating, those toxins are coming in, and this gives you the opportunity to get rid of that
energy. All that energy, first of all, it goes in phases. The first phase is cleansing. Our body is a tubular system, right? How you clean a tube is by squeezing it, put clean water, squeeze it, the same with a cloth or whatever, same idea. So it's just a physical cleansing, right? But after a certain amount of days, between 10 and 12 days of a fast, the fast becomes, like most of the toxins have now been deposited in the large intestines. So now, the cleansing, the energy is still there. It's going to go into deep cellular cleaning. Now that's a completely different story, because that's where fasting becomes rejuvenating. And for any of you who speak French, the word for fasting in French is jeûner, which also means becoming younger. So that's kind of clever combination.
Because what you're doing is you're saying it's cleaning every cell in your body.
Every single cell in your body. There is not one cell left untouched, because it's like billions and billions of scalpels cleaning all the dirt out of your body.
So you'd say this starts happening after about 2 weeks?
10 to 12 days is normally accepted. Yeah.
Now, do you have to...
therapeutic deep cellular cleaning.
Do you have to do something different in the fast? Like,
no.
You just stop eating and drink the water.
That's it.
That's all you got to do.
That's it. It's that simple.
And how much water do you drink a day when you're fasting?
A very good question.
Yeah.
When you get thirsty, how do you tell?
Well, my mouth gets dry.
Your mouth
gets dry, or I just feel dehydrated.
You just answered your own questions.
Yeah.
Since I've been here, 20 minutes, whatever, I've taken 3 little swigs, because talking constantly after 30-day fast, you need some water. Okay, that's it. And there's the whole thing with this in the 1950s mindset of 8 ounces of or 8 big glasses of water every day is absolutely wrong.
Really?
Absolutely.
So more or less than that.
Less than that. When you listen to your body, which is more important than any other institution or doctor or whatever, when you get thirsty, you drink.
So you just drink as much as you feel like.
You don't why would you force extra water on your system? It only overtaxes your kidneys. That's all it does. So let your body do its work. It's smarter than anybody else put together.
So how much do you drink a day when you're fasting?
Not very much, actually.
What, a liter,
Not very
2
much.
liters, 3
I would
liters?
say roughly, probably about between 1 and 2 liters, maybe. Yeah. And that's all your body. But it depends how big a person you are, most likely in the first place.
But just
how quickly your kidneys process and your metabolism, everything else. But by the way, you said different metabolism. Fasting is the best way to fix your metabolism if something's wrong with it.
Right. And people who are overweight or maybe underweight or whatever, or maybe they're sluggish or maybe they're hyperactive, those are all metabolism issues, right?
Definitely.
So, okay, Any other benefits we need to articulate before we...
Oh, there is a few, yes. Well, first of all, we all know that our bodies are made 70 to 75% water. So what is the best way to control the health of your body is to control its water content, right? And how do you do that? By fasting and only put water. When your body tells you it needs it, when your body tells you the mouth is dry, drink some water and then put it away, and then the body will take care of what it asks for, right? So it's all in all an overall respect for nature, most of that, and I also at the same time I made this huge decision to go on this fast, and I liked it because it was to my benefit in a large extent. I decided to also become vegetarian. So I quit smoking, quit eating meat and fish, and quit eating dirty food like white flour, white sugar. For 37 years I have not purchased any of these things. I mean, you can go outside and you can't always stay away from everything. Yeah. But you can really those 5 things you can clean up your diet in an amazing way, and that's what happened to me. And that's when my eyes opened up and said, I'm going to look after my body. I'm not going to worry about anything else for now. That's number one.
And I want to ask you about, do you have to prepare for the fast?
Yes. How do you fast?
And how do you do that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, I don't speak for anybody else. How I do it, I became a member or a director, as a matter of fact, of the Natural Hygiene Society at the time, if you know what that is. Mm-hmm. And they were quite active in Toronto, but they're not anymore as much, apparently. I haven't been involved with that personally anymore. I'm not even a member of the Vegetarian Society, but I have not eaten any meat or fish. Basically, what happened is I extended my circle of compassion to include all animals, which is another vegetarian argument that can only pull so far. My sister is vegan. It's a different attitude again. If a cow dies, why can't you make a pair of shoes with the skin, right? So, but she refused to wear, or vegans refuse to wear leather. So I think that's taking it too far. I mean, to me it doesn't make sense. But
even the health argument alone, right? With eating meat makes a lot of sense.
Eating not meat, only
not
meat.
eating meat.
Eating meat. Yeah.
Yes. There are many statistics that for example, per country they track down the amount of meat consumption and the amount of heart attacks, and it's exactly the same curve over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. New Zealand, from Sweden to Africa, to anywhere.
Okay, so we're talking about preparation, and
yes.
So
how do we do
not eating meat, that's a permanent lifestyle choice for you, yes. But do you suggest people do that maybe in a week or two prior to starting a fast?
Yes. Not only that, but you also have to prepare yourself for the fast, your bowels, in other words.
And how do you do that?
Okay, but through the Natural Hygiene Society, I met Dr. Christopher Giancursio.
Okay.
He's an Italian-backed original doctor, and he was one of the proponents of natural hygiene as well. And he would prescribe what he came up with called blended salads. And it's a simple recipe with 5 or 6 ingredients, vegetables, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, pepper. You put it all in a blender, and you eat it with a spoon before it oxidizes. That was his trip. He prescribed that for every single patient. They already got better by the time they came back the next time. So he said the best thing to do, at least for 3 days before you stop eating altogether, you eat that, because if nothing else happens, because during a fast you don't go to the washroom much, at all, so you don't want anything, what they call no putrefaction in your large intestines, and the mixture of the blended salad will actually easily sustain itself for 30 days in there.
What do you mean? That stuff stays in your intestine for 30
yes,
days? The blended salad?
Yes.
And doesn't putrefy?
That's correct.
What about the other stuff that you got in there that you're hoping to get out?
Well, that's why
already
3 or 4
putrefied.
days you eat nothing but the blended salad.
Okay, all right. And then
So-
during the fast, you're going to
sure,
get rid
for
of all that other stuff, right? Hopefully, right? You're going to like clean
No,
out
once
your
you start
bowels.
fasting, there is no more bowel movements.
So
But wait a sec, I have a question because you said that the idea of fasting is about using the stored resources.
Yes.
So if those stored resources can last for 150 days, how can what you've been eating before that 3 days be out of your system?
Well, it's not out, but it's just waiting to be expelled by the bowels. It's just sitting there.
now, what about
The digestion happens in the duodenum, which is the small intestine. That's where your nutrients are taken out. Once it's in the large intestine, there is no more food coming out.
You know, this is actually one of the criticisms I've heard about the water fast, and I really want to ask you about this now because you're saying that, okay, if you've already got food like most people in their intestine and it's putrefied, right?
Bad news, yeah. Gotta get it out.
Is the fast going to get rid of that, or should they think about doing something else to prepare for the
Well,
fast?
there is no. You can do colon irrigation anytime you want. I've done it in the middle of fast. It depends how you feel, all that kind of thing. So it just it becomes part of your life to actually clean out your system.
But it sounds like you should really do that if you're going to do a water fast.
Well, this one here, this you can see the graph of this fast here. This first part is my liver cleanse, and so look how much.
Do you want it to
Let's
think we
look.
can?
Wait, no, what's on the x-axis?
Well, it's
That's the liver cleanse, and then what's the other part?
Time is horizontal, and my weight is vertical.
Oh, your weight.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've lost about what, 30 pounds,
30
right?
pounds, exactly. Almost to the pound, yeah.
I don't know if we can see that, but there's the graph.
There's a-
So you see, anyway, that's time on the x-axis and 30 pounds
yeah.
on the y-axis.
And you see how it goes
That's
like.
your weight.
And you see how it goes like this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like little bumps.
so those are
It's
the
interesting. And it's pretty well every year the same. It goes little bumps like that. Yeah.
now,
How did
okay.
you monitor this?
Well, you just weigh yourself every day.
Oh, so you just drew the graph after you weighed yourself. There's your weight.
Well,
Go down,
every
there you
day
go.
I connect the dots.
That's a lot in 30 days.
Yeah, 30.
It's only 30 pounds. It's like a pound a day.
It's not bad.
Oh,
not
that's
bad.
good.
And it's mostly water. It's not fat, what we're talking about. You control the water in your system is not necessarily the fat. Of course, I hope some fat went. There's no doubt about that.
Now,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of time left,
We don't.
Bob, but what else? But let's get everything out that we need to talk about.
Okay. So 3 days blended salad minimum. Fast, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking the fast, which I will do this afternoon, is with fruits. Only fruits
Okay.
for probably close to 2 weeks, actually.
So how are you going to break it? What are you going to eat this afternoon?
The first thing I eat is I buy the organic dried apricots,
Mm-hmm.
and I put them on water, and they swell up and become, and this helps me to evacuate whatever I need to evacuate right after the
All right.
fast.
Okay.
Some people use prune. Prune doesn't work on me. Apricots are better. And then after that, I eat, whole organic fruits for almost the whole week. And then I start making fruit salads, and then they become very delicious, And once you can, and of course, then you have lots of energy, and
And then you
your
take the
body's
cookbook out again.
The acid will clean everything out.
No,
And
are
then
you-
little by little, you go back into other foods,
A regular-
vegetables.
And how's your energy level today, day 30 of the fast, compared to before the fast?
Well, it's as you can see, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. Did you have any days during the fast where your energy level was maybe not
Yes,
there?
there are. Yes, there are slight, ups and downs.
Yeah.
Yeah. When toxins come out, you get dizzy a little bit sometimes, and it depends. But you can feel, and it feels good. That's what it's all about. You feel better afterwards.
Right.
And then the next, we said breaking addictions.
Yeah.
A huge thing, addictions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like a beer, I like this, I like that, like everybody else. After wine absolutely tastes like vinegar. Even good, expensive wine will taste like vinegar. Beer is not so bad, but you don't want to go right away into beer either.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm Belgian. I like my beer. My beer belly is expensive.
Oh, that's what you're working off. It's the beer.
It's the beer as well. It's not just one thing. It's everything. You know. And then the next big advantage of fasting is probably the inward thing, is the interconnectedness with, as we said, every religion in the world has fasting in it. Mm-hmm. Why would that be? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. If you think all these things through, like all animals do it, all religions have it, it doesn't hurt anything. It only gets people better. With all these factors, if you lump them all in one argument, there is no breaking up any argument at all. I mean, everybody should be fasting. And it scares the medical profession so bad that they actually censored fasting. Mm-hmm. All information, when my mother got sick in the 80s, I went to Toronto Library and I could not get a list of fasting institutes in Europe. There was censored information.
Not to mention what happened to that fellow that wrote the book. Right?
Well, then maybe it would be a good idea to get this book. Read this. What's the book again? It's called The Mucusless Diet.
Mucusless. The
Mucusless.
We didn't even talk about Shelton.
Healing.
He's the dean of
so let's hold these books up.
The dean of natural hygiene.
Well, he came up with the concept of natural hygiene, right?
He was in and out of jail all the time.
Because of fasting?
Yes. Yeah. See, people don't quite understand.
That is just incredible. That just gets to show you how much the powers that be don't want us to be healthy.
Well,
that's just ridiculous.
You should know that by now.
I know, but fasting, come on.
And you got Paul Bragg here, I see. He's the apple cider vinegar guy, right?
He's the Australian guy, yeah. He's the Australian natural hygiene guy.
Yeah. Okay, what else do we need to know quickly while we're...
Well, what about all the savings on food and toilet paper?
Oh. It's funny you should mention about the toilet paper. I was just out shopping for toilet paper yesterday, Bob.
Oh, there you go. You see, we should fast more often. Linus Pauling said, going back on your revelation just not even 10 seconds ago, the medical institutions have taken to calling themselves the health profession. This is a misnomer, what is really called the sickness industry. And this is, forensic. So the Food
and Drug Administration should change their name.
Your life insurance.
We'd like to kill you all.
Your life insurance knows the day that you're going to die. They're figuring out how much they're going to juice out of you before that happens.
Wow. I'm so glad that you came and talked to us about this. The fasting is really important, and not just for the physical part, but
I don't necessarily want to amaze the invisible audience, but there is other connected, other layers to this that are spiritualism.
For the mental and spiritual part as well,
yes.
yeah.
Well, I'm
probably one of the largest portals to dimensions and all that.
And it's springtime now, and spring cleaning. I mean, it's a great way to start. Do your own internal, your own house, your own temple, clean it out.
I had to develop my own language to start to talk to younger generations, because their thinking is just what I call Google issues. And instead of saying go fasting, he said, reformat your brain disk. And I said, reset button? Do we have a reset button? That kind of things.
I want to ask you before we go, because I'm actually really pretty hyped on doing this. Where do you get the water, the distilled water, for doing something like this?
Well, the water depot is a place in where I live. The water depot. There's Nimbus. There is a number of places where you can buy really, really clean water, reverse osmosis. And now they also have the alkaline reverse osmosis.
Does that make sense? Does that alkalize your body, that alkaline water?
Well, I'm not a great proponent of it, because I don't believe that anything should be in your water. Your nutrition should come from your food, and particularly your fruit, because fruit is already... Monkeys don't drink. You ever see a monkey go in a river and drink water? Why would they do that?
I don't see too many monkeys.
All the liquid that they need comes out of their diet. It's much better.
Right.
Much better. Grapefruit juice is distilled water with the grapefruit juice.
All the
in it.
benefits
Yeah,
of the
all the
grapefruit.
benefits in it. So why would you worry about water? That's why I don't drink large amounts of water either. Because if you drink the wrong water, you make yourself sick. You
Well,
kill
maybe
yourself.
that's the reason why
You
I'm
can kill
concerned about
yourself.
water, because
You
I
can
do drink
kill-
a lot of
Well,
water.
stop
That's-
drinking
you're-
so much
you're-
water and go on a
you're
nice
teaching me a lot
vacation.
about this. Yeah.
Now, Bob, if somebody was interested in maybe getting more information, like, are you? Can they get in touch with you? And
Well, they could.
how?
My information has been on the screen several times with previous, but the phone number is always the same. It's 647-722-8422. And it says you reached the real Bob, and if you want to talk about anything, go ahead and do so.
And is there a website, or I forget what we put on the screen before?
There's
but-
no website on fasting.
Well, we'll put the same information up on this interview then.
Oh, there's lots of information on Google on fasting.
Right.
Fasting for health is what you Google up, for example.
Okay. All right.
What's interesting about the internet, which did not occur when I was fasting, I lost a lot of friends because people called me crazy and irresponsible, and I was reported to CAS for not giving meat to my child and all that kind of thing. You know, in those days, it was like frightening.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Now the doors have opened up wide open. I mean, there's so much now you can talk and do, but still not everything, by the way. There's still a lot of disinformation. You know, well, Bruce would have told you about colloidal silver. It's still being.
Okay. Oh, and we're going to have you back in a month or so. Do you know? Know what we're going to be talking about then?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. Do you have to know today, or
No, we don't.
Because
I just thought I'd ask in case.
We're just going to book him in every month,
All
and
right.
he'll have
I'm
something to
trying-
talk about. You know, Bob.
Okay.
right
He's got
now
a lot of stuff to
I'm
talk
trying
about.
to digest the death of a friend today, because I just heard of that yesterday
Oh, yeah.
in the afternoon, and it was a shock to me, because
Yeah.
I mean, I know the man was not in perfect health, but he sure was slightly overweight and lived on a bit of a horrible diet, I know, but still.
But he was taking all that colloidal silver
Yeah.
and gold, and he's Bruce McBurney that we had a show just a couple weeks ago.
That doesn't. If you have a heart attack, that germicide. It's not germicides won't help.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Well, all right. Well, we're all digesting that a little bit.
Great equalizer.
So, Bob, thanks for coming on the show today, and we look forward to having you back in a month or so.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
We'll think about what we're going to talk
Maybe I'll
about.
be on a fast by then.
I was going to suggest that, actually. We'll do the next show on the 30th day of your fast.
Yeah, start today.
I will. It might happen.
I mean, it doesn't have to be 30 days. It could be 60 days from now. I'll give you a break on that.
Well, we'll see what happens, but we just might do it. I'm very tempted to do it. So thank you.
Yeah,
So we're going to
read up some more on it. When you go on the internet now, you get feedback from other people, which is really interesting.
Okay.
Which I didn't get when I
All
was
right.
fasting.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a little break and come
Okay.
back in a couple of minutes as Liquid Lunch continues. We'll be right back.